Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming and come listen to the Rox story. Right. So what is Rox? Rox is an emerging high-grade gold developer. We've got a really high-grade resource, 2.3 million ounces at 4.4 grams a tonne, and that MRE was released in January last year. The probable ore reserve, 550,000 ounces at 4.4, and this is on a mine plan of 850,000 ounces. We have an exploration upside, which is huge. We're open a long strike and down dip across the main ore body, plus the entire shear zone. We've got a bit over 60 kilometres of ground down the UME shear, and a lot of it's very untested, just like the rest of the Murchison. If it wasn't a mine there previously, there's not many holes which go past the oxides, let alone deeper than 100 metres. Our PFS, very compelling financials. And again, as everyone else has said, the gold price has gone up significantly. If you look at the $3,700 number, we've got 800,000 ounces, an extra, what is it now, $900 an ounce. It's a pretty big number. It's getting up around a $2 billion cash flow. Payback getting down to 1.2 years. It's pretty significant. Delivery and growth. So we did a placement last year, $27 million, which finalised last month. And that was really about accelerating this project, getting some extra drill holes into the ground to see what the potential of it can be, but also about just really understanding where we're going. The main program, 35,000 metres of drilling, DDH1 and Striker on site at the moment. We had 3 rigs come in just before Christmas. 5 rigs have been spinning since the first week of January. And we released some results yesterday, which I'll go through shortly. Key focus, shallow near-term growth options and early production. Well funded, covered that, results focused. I joined the company a bit over 4 months ago. As the CEO, I came in from Westgold Resources, where I spent my last couple of years as the COO there. And I brought Greg Hoskins in as the CFO as well, and he's joined us from OreCorp. In terms of the team and what we're about, we've got a pretty experienced board. Recent addition there who came on at the same time as me is Nathan Astoidis. He's known as Mr. Metallurgy, he's an absolute gun, and he's overseeing all the met study work for us. Myself, the CEO, I'm a mining engineer. Greg Hoskins, CFO, covered him. Dan Marchese, so he delivered the PFS with the previous team here. He's been in the group for a couple of years, strong focus in delivering mine projects. Andrew Shaw-Stewart, he joined just before myself, 20-year veteran of the exploration world. He's got a lot of experience. Ollie Keen's come in as my GM of operations a couple of weeks ago as well, and he's been behind the start-up of Dore at Andy Well, Red 5, King of the Hills project, back in the early days as well, plus inside the Westgold group. He actually started a few mines for me back then as well. But at the end of the day, we're here to deliver exceptional returns from UME Gold Deposit, and that's where all our focus is sitting right now. Corporate overview, 608 million shares on issue. Share price at the moment is around 24.5 cents, circa 150 market cap. 25.5 million cash and equivalents as of December, at the end of the quarter there. And we've got a register which is improving. Hawke's Point, our major holder, 19.6%. Very invested in the project, very hands-on, and a lot of good experience which comes with them. Q Gold, by association with our large holding in Venus, sit at about 19.2%. Chris Wallen, very strong in this space as well. And we brought a few institutions in, sitting up around about that 8.89% mark at the moment. Analyst coverage, Canaccord and Euroz Hartleys, both released updated research notes yesterday. And if you're looking at the spot price valuations, at around that 48 to 60 cent mark. And again today, we're 24.5. UME project. So it's up in the southern end of the Murchison on UME Greenstone Belt. About 160 kilometres south of Mount Magnet, 150 kilometres from Paynes Fine, so it's out in the middle of nowhere. But we're surrounded by multi-million ounce mines and producers, and we've got really good infrastructure coming in. We've got great roads, we've got airstrips, we've actually got a small camp on site, and there's a previous proven track record of production from the mine. 660,000 ounces have been mined there over about 20 years, 5.4 grams a tonne. Historic mines, you've got the Pollard Underground, circa 15 grams. UME Main Underground was around 10, 11 grams. PFS. So the highlights from that, again, this was released July last year. It's a fantastic PFS. It's quite conservative. It's high-level quotes which have been done, Tier 3 for the processing, and quoted numbers on budget estimates for the mining. It's high grade, it's high margin, great economics, and potential for massive upside. Reserve resource, we covered off on that. Production target, 850,000 ounces mined, 800,000 ounces produced, and an average of 100,000 for the 8 years of mine life. Plant recovery sitting in the mid-90s, and that's all based off a 750,000 tonne per annum plant, which we believe we have the capacity to increase. And again, going back to the drill program we're doing now, that's what we're really working on. How big can we make this system? What is going to be the right size mill for this ore body? Margins, all-in sustaining costs at around $16.76 an ounce. Costs haven't really moved a huge amount in the last 7 months since this was released, so we're pretty confident where that's sitting. Again, free cash flow at 3,700 was 1.3 billion. Bit of maths and you see it's around 2 billion today. NPV, again at 3,700, 800 million. Bit more maths, you'll come up with the next number. The mineral resource estimate, again, this is January last year. It was an update of the old models and it was brought in as a true focus on the underground. 2.3 million ounces at 4.4 and an underground resource base of 1.7 million ounces at 5.5 grams. What I always loved about this project when I first looked at it a couple of years ago, it's really that top section, the OVMs. Top 300 metres of ore body at over 4,000 OVMs, still tracking at around 2,000 OVMs at depth, and really it's just limited by the drilling. The reserve base, 550,000 ounces. Mine plan 850, so there's been a fair bit of work on trying to lift that number up. But one of the key things here, top of the mine, over 1,500 OVMs in the reserve. Down the bottom, still around that 1,500 OVMs. And really important, we've got existing infrastructure. There's a decline which goes nearly 600 metres below surface. Vent shafts, all of that in place, so it's going to help with the dewatering, but it's also going to make it a lot cheaper to get down there than it'll be on a conventional mine decline. Drill results. So when I came in October last year, there was a growth program which was underway, 11,000 metres of drilling, and that had a key focus on two things. First of all was the infill drilling, getting it from inferred to indicated resource, so that we can up the reserve number and get some more confidence into the mine plan leading into the DFS, but also the MET samples. We need 1,200 kilos of samples to be able to do our MET test work, and that's been collected from this process. What was really encouraging though is there's some fantastic results. United North, hole 129, we had 30 metres at 20 grams. Pollard, hole 109, 8 metres at 45. Hole 115, 3 at 21. And hole 404, UME main, hole 119, 5 metres at 15. And what was exciting there is right up in the top of the old workings. So it's part of the early works we'll actually get out of it. Which that leads into where we're working right now. Again, we've started a 35,000 metre campaign and it's all focused on early production and resource growth. What can we bring in earlier? What size can we actually make the plant to match this mine? These results came out yesterday and it's all part of looking at our exploration targets. We're looking for around 1 to 2 million extra ounces in the project, focusing on areas of the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Phase 1 is relatively complete at the moment. We'll assess that and decide if we go back into that area. There's a few more holes planned now, but they'll be a bit later. Phase 2, it's really focusing on that Pollard growth area, and phase 3 is the linking area between UME main and Hill End. Key results which come out so far: hole 146 in Pollard, 5 at 85. 149A, we had 3 metres at 16. UME main, 10 metres at 8. United North, 33 metres at 4. And Hill End, 9 at 9. What's really important of all of these is they are outside the existing mine plan and also they're all resource growth holes. Regional projects. So again, we've got a bit over 60 kilometres of strike. We've got Penny West in the middle with Ramelius, and it's really untested. There's a few targets which have been looked at over the years, but nothing's actually had any deeper drilling. It's all been more to shallow air core and RC. Currans is probably one of our more advanced. This was drilled a couple of years ago. Some really good targets with hits were taken at the top of that, and that's one of the ones we're going to follow up on this year. Once we've finished this main program we're on as well, which will be in mid-April, that's our sort of cut-off time for the MRE, we'll also start looking at the other areas from the south end of Pollard all the way down to the shear zone, which includes our Paddy's ore body, which was released about a year and a half ago as well. So again, a lot of potential in this region. Which really leads into what we're trying to do this year. So as part of the cap raise we did last year, we actually put out our indicative pathway to production. how we're going to get this into operations and really show the market the time frame we're trying to do it. It's aggressive, but it's all doable. The growth is the drill programs we're on now. 35,000 plus metres of drilling will get into this ore body, and that'll be largely complete by mid-April. That'll lead to the MRE update. That's due in June this year. And in that, there'll be at least 46,000 metres of drilling, which will be included into our new resource base. From there, we'll do the mine plan update to get the reserves out, and that'll come in a DFS, which is due late this year. Met test work, I'll cover that in the next few slides, but comminution flotation test work's underway. Following that, we'll start the albumin test work. We'll start looking at some early results there mid-year before closing that off just before the DFS. Design work, tailings works, we're going out for quoting now. Get the designs done on that and leading into the approvals process. We've got an experienced environment manager in-house now who's done permitting on multiple projects, and he will help us get that through. Dewatering works. The mine's got 2 million cubes of water in it. We're going to start moving that late next month. I'll go through the progress there shortly. And if everything goes to plan, we'll look at some exploration declines later this year ahead of the FID. So with DFS coming out late in the year, the plan is within a couple of months to make an FID and start construction of the mill, which is about a 13-month build time, and it ties in nice with the mine program. Met test work. So as mentioned, this process is happening now. ALS have got our samples, 1,200 kilos of core went down there. Comminution test work's complete. Flotation test works are about halfway through at the moment. You can see the photos here of the rougher and the cleaner. A large portion of the sulphides were cleaned up in the rougher, and it's been pretty encouraging, the results we've seen so far with the chemical usage all being pretty typical of a pyrite ore system. Following that, the concentrates will then go across to core laboratories in Brisbane, which under the eye of Glencore, they'll do all the albumin test work, and yeah, it's around 4 to 6 months we'll start getting the results through on that. Dewatering. We have massive evaporation ponds on site, which are fully permitted to use. That photo down the bottom right was standing on the back corner of the tailings dam last week looking over it. And it's sort of mind-blowing the amount of space which has been set up in the infrastructure we've got. Those ponds alone will hold just over a third of watering capacity, which come out of the open pit. And the average evaporation rate over the issue would be about 30 litres a second with historical numbers. We're looking at options to expand these as well. We've also put in a permitting request to send water to our northern pits, which is about another third of the capacity. And we're going to start putting some sprinklers on site, most likely to deal with the rest of the water. The intention being in around the end of Q3 this calendar year, we should have that pit down to the portal positions. Which leads to the next steps. So it's all about near mine exploration and growth. 35,000 metres of drilling minimum in this program, with a target being completion around mid-April. Following that, we'll start going to more of the greenfields exploration and expanding outside the current mine footprint. And this really has potential to significantly increase the scale of the UME Gold project. Progress to DFS. Met test work is the big component of that, and that's a true driver of our time frame. Getting this flow sheet right, and again, comminution flotation's underway. Getting into the permitting and seeking all our approvals. Well advanced on that front now, putting our plans together and actually starting to get that work done. Progress discussions of project financing. Again, this is why I brought a CFO into the business, Greg Hoskins. He's got a lot of work on the debt and equity sides of it, and we're starting to work through that process now. With DFS due late in H2 this year. Dewatering, we'll complete the refurbishment of evaporation ponds and commence dewatering. And then we'll get the permitting and surveys done to send it to the northern pits, and also look at the opportunities to send out to Lake Noondy, which is 23 kilometres off site. And that's the rock story where we're at today. Thanks for listening. If you've got any questions, come see me and the team. We're at booth 26. We'll be happy to talk to you. Thank you.